So listen, Davey, for anybody who doesn't know you, you're a fighter, you're a PT, but where the hell did the name come from? Meogie.
Meogie. Right. This story actually goes back to, geez, I gone back to the 80s before I was even born. So
Nothing wrong with the 80s, Davey.
I was born just before the 80s now. You mind your fucking piece of juice.
My eldest brother John done karate, and it was at the same time when the Karate Kid just came out. Now, the way we spell it is Meogie, which is arse ways. It's actually Miyagi, like Mr. Miyagi.
Yeah.
And I think it was like his mate's dad just nicknamed him, "Oh, you're doing Karate Kid, John, Mr. Miyagi." And it just stuck with him then, and then it got passed down. Like, I was just known as Little Miyagi growing up from like a young age on the road. Like Jesus, as soon as I was just out there doing my own thing, like even in school, like there was teachers that called me Meogie.
So you know, the good old Irish, a mild bit of racism goes a long way, doesn't it?
So that's just that, and it kind of stuck. And fuck me, I've told that story too many times.
Yeah,
it's actually half the time now I just go to people, I'll tell you.
You know what you can do from now on? You can say, "Here, listen, I told that story in the podcast.
Yeah,
you watch that. Here's the link."
Yeah.
So come here, listen. How talk back, right? So how long have we known each other now? Roughly 5 years, would it be 4 or 5 years?
Yeah, I'd say about 5 years. Yeah.
So talk us back. How did we meet? What was going on in your world that we kind of cross paths?
So I was training Muay Thai and in Dublin Combat Academy, and a couple of the lads trained there that were, at the time I actually hadn't even had an amateur fight, and a couple of the lads like Craig Hoakley and Aaron Brown and Stephen Crowley, they were all out training with you doing their strength and conditioning. And it really actually came down to one night we were in sparring, and I just remember I was getting in the clinch, I was just getting walled around, like even like taking kicks, like I was getting moved, do you know what I mean? Everything was just
bad bastards,
it was worse. Yeah, do you know what I mean? So then it came, it was just like, you know, maybe you should pop out to Jay's with us. And I was like, right, no worries, yeah, I'll head out. And then Q went to Elite, and then that's where I kind of started me strength and conditioning. Before that, I'd never in my life had really done any proper resistance training, and at that stage I would have been probably 25. You know?
And come here, listen, so go back, right, where you're in Dublin Combat Academy, you're starting off there. What was going on there? Why did you start that? What, your early 20s? Most people start, you know, when you're a kid or whatever. So what was going on?
Yeah. So
he was a late bloomer.
I was a late bloomer. I've been a late bloomer for a lot of things. I'm still blooming. Yeah, so it goes back to a friend of mine brought me to a Muay Thai show, and he'd been training with the lads, and I was like, you know, I've always been into combat sports. I've always, like, from a spectator point of view, and maybe I had some sort of idea planted in my head years and years ago that, I'll do that one day. I'd love to do that. So I went to this show, and he got the ringside tickets and everything, and I was just sitting there in awe, like watching these lads elbow each other in the head, just splashes of blood. I remember, like, the photographer and everything, she was like having to like wipe our lens between rounds, and I just kind of went, I'd love to do that. Like, I want to get in there. That's what I want to experience. That, like, that looks like the most fun you're gonna have without getting arrested. So that Monday, so that was on the Saturday. That Monday I started. I just said, no point in thinking about it. Just go straight in. Started on the Monday, and I was like, right, I'm going to do this every day.
Yeah.
And not twice a day, just once a day, every day, 5 days a week. And that's how I started. And then not long after, I think I was in like a month, and I picked up my first injury. I got like a cracked rib, and, you know, I'm not really ever feeling that before. I then ended up taking like probably like 2 or 3 weeks out. Still wasn't healed or anything. But I think, like, you know, at that stage I was like 23. And I'd say there was a good long period where I hadn't done any sort of sport, any sort of training. I was after just getting off the couch and like diving into something full on. And your body's soft. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're more prone to injury, everything. So it was kind of like a long road in a way. I'd go back, and then I'd throw a kick, you know, a week later of training, everything's going grand, and maybe like me toe would like get sprained or like, you know, break or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're just getting all these niggles all over that I just think of, like, the body's just conditioned to now.
Yeah.
Because I see even with like lads in the gym now that are beginners, or, you know, they're on their kind of amateur journey, they're constantly like, you know, they're taking this time out because of this rib injury or this or my shin sore or whatever it might be. But yeah, that's where that's really where
how
it
it got
started.
started. And come here, do you know when you got started, so you said, listen, you're there, you're watching a fella, he gets an elbow in the head. Most people go, "Oh, that's deadly. I don't want to do it myself, though."
Yeah.
So, what was it for you, right? When you got going, like, was there a bit of a vision for yourself? Did you have an idea of where you wanted to go or what you wanted to do, or were you just training?
You know what? Like, I always had it like secretly kind of in the back of my mind, like not really saying it out loud that I wanted to fight. I was always telling myself, like, you know, I do want to fight, but I didn't want to say it. I never wanted to say it to the coach, my head coach from Combat Academy, Collie Matton. I just wanted to try and kind of like prove myself in a way first, to the point where maybe he would say to me, like, do you want to fight? Yeah. Which eventually kind of was how it went. But at the same time as well, I think it's a bit of the unknown as well. Like, it is very easy to sit there and look at it and go, oh, I'd love to do that. Look at him getting an elbow in the head. Look at that big gash on his head and all. But realistically, then when it actually came down with the crunch time, it was shit your bag season. Like, do you know what I mean? I was like, oh fuck, I'm actually here now. This is what I wanted. I'm standing in this, but before amateur fight, it was actually in a cage. So I'm standing in this cage across from this deal, and I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake. Everyone just shouting for murder. And I'm like, oh, balls.
I'm still wondering how you looked at that and thought, oh, that looks like fun. What goes through your mind when you're saying to yourself, that looks like fun for me? Where's the fun in getting yourself like smashed up?
There's no fun in getting smashed up, but there's fun in just, it's a thrill. It is a thrill. It's a thrill of just getting in there and testing yourself against another human being. Like, I tell you what, I don't really view Muay Thai as like a game or a match. I hate when people say that to me. They're like, oh, good luck in your match. I'm like, this is not a match. Like, this is a fight. I don't look at this in any kind of way that I'm in here to like try and like score and, you know, look, obviously you have to have a bit of brains, you know what I mean? There might be some Aldebaran and there might be some Aldebarans. It's who was his bigger kind of, I suppose, but when I'm getting in there, it's all just about I'm testing myself against another human being and I'm trying to come out on top here. That's what it is for me. It's not like, you know, I don't know.
This isn't a game of football.
Yeah,
you're not scoring points here.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
yeah.
But in your mind, are you going in there? Like, obviously, in the fighting game, there is respect for your opponent. There's all the rest.
Yeah.
But like, are you going in there to like, you want to kill this dude? Like, is it, or what is going through your head?
Yeah, but like it's kind of for me. It's like when I'm getting in there, come what may. Like, if the worst happens, like it happens, and I'm at risk as well. I just understand that like he's probably coming in here with the same mentality. Although sometimes you do get in the ring and you just, when you face off, you look at that person and you know yourself, right, he thinks this is a match. He doesn't think this is a fight.
Right.
And that's kind of like, that can be like,
you've nearly won already, haven't
it's
you?
like, yeah, that's a very much like a psychological aspect there where it's like, oh, we've won.
Yeah, he's underestimated this scenario here.
Yeah.
And come here, listen, so you're starting off, you're doing your bit of training. You're nearly looking for permission, weren't you? You wanted someone to turn around and go, fuck, you're doing a great job. We're going to get you a fight. It was that kind of little kind of thing there. So talk us through kind of what happened the first few years or maybe even up to now, kind of what the kind of path was for you in terms of the fight game.
So the path was training every day, picking up these like niggly little injuries along the way, you know. Just training away, and then I'd say I was training at this stage. I was probably training about 2 years, and there was talks of me having an amateur fight. And then in sparring one night, I threw a kick, and there was just a big pop in my knee, and like I hit the deck straight away. I knew this is bad. You know what I mean? Collie's coming over. He's like pulling me leg out. He's like massaging the thing. Yeah. He says he's really trying to get in there. That's grand. I remember like that night I had to get a taxi home and all. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, you're in a hoop.
Yeah, in a hoop. Like there's no way I couldn't push the pedal of the car around. And turns out I tore my meniscus in my right knee. And you know, with the health system over here, like it's a bit of unless you're on private, it was a long wait then to get surgery on it to get it fixed. end up being like, I end up being out about 6 months. Now, part of my doing, I probably could have gone back and done something, but I got myself into a rut. And then I went back and I was probably back training another 6 months. And the knee wasn't really giving me too much hassle then. Then I had to go and get surgery. When I got the surgery put me out probably then another 2 months. Anyway, after that, I'd say probably about 4 months went by, and then I had my first amateur fight. So yeah, all in all,
a year there
all in all, yeah, you know, like from the start of training to having your first amateur fight, you know, probably doing it about, you know, 2.5 to 3 years.
Yeah. And then what was moving on then? So you had your first fight. Did you win or lose, or what went on with that?
So funny thing about that is that I got asked to fight on a show in Mullingar, Muay Thai, amateur Muay Thai, and training away for that grand. And then Collie comes to me and says, what was it? It was about like 2.5 weeks before that fight, and he says, "Come here, there's another fight for you if you want to take it." And I says, yeah, whatever you think. And he was just like, "You'll fight in Mullingar as well, but this fight is actually in a week's time, and it's K1 in a cage." And I was just like, right, no bother. And he's just like, "Oh, don't worry, I'm gonna fuck this fella up." Do you know what I mean? I'm like, okay, right, I'll do it, whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just, I don't know, I felt like, I can't say no to this guy. Yeah. Anyways, I went into that fight, and funny actually, when I'd done the course in the league, I told this same story. So I went into that fight, and just mad nervous energy from both of us, me and this fella. And we just basically ran straight at the deal, do you know what I mean? And then he kneed me in the balls hard, and I dropped. And then I get back up, and I'm like readjusting my cup and all, and you know, I kind of shake it off, and you know what I mean, there was none of this like bollocks. You take like 5 minutes rest there or whatever. It was just like, I just want to get back into it, ignore it. Get back into it. Then the next exchange, bang, knee in the balls again. And like this time, the guy started looking at me. He's mounting to me. He's like, "I'm sorry." And now I'm just like, just pure aggression. Like I don't hear a thing that the corner are telling me to do. I'm fronting at the bout, and I'm just going for it. Anyways, all in all, went the full 3 rounds. I got a decision win in that fight, and then I got into the back, and I just pulled the cup out of the jock strap, and the thing was just completely dented inward.
He mangled you.
I'm not loyal, lads. Like, I'm telling you now, me left testicle was actually killing me for about 3 days after.
You nearly gave me a vagina.
I had to. No, honest God, I went and Googled this thing. Yeah. I had a bruised nut.
Yeah. Like, so tell us this, right? So you're moving through, you're starting to get a few fights under your belt, right? And you're kind of making that transition between, right, I'm a professional athlete, I'm like an amateur athlete. I'm training fairly heavy here, but I want to start to move. You can see the lads ahead of you that are professionals. You want to move towards that. But look, you're obviously not getting paid. So what was happening work-wise for you back then? What was going on in your world?
At that time, I was working in security. I just worked like whatever jobs, you know, retail, security, the likes of that. So, working in security, like the hours are just cat. They're like, you know, I was standing in some joint, let's say from 2 till 10 at night. I'd go from there and start a shift in a club at 11. I'd be there till 4 in the morning by the time you clear everybody out and all. And how am I meant to get up to train at 9:30 in the morning? You know what I mean? Like, and I was actually still doing that. I was actually going home, going to bed and getting up, and then I'd be just in training, sluggish.
In a hula hoop.
Yeah, in a hula hoop. That boy is all fresh. You know what I mean? Like, just
biting the head off you.
You know what I mean? Like, I might as well just hung myself from like one of the bags. Yeah. Just.
So listen, how did that kind of make you feel? Because you had this kind of idea that, you know, I want to make a bit of progress here, but at the same time, how would you describe that job in terms of how it made you feel or what was going on there?
Just like, like for the money you're getting, it's not worth it, really. Do you know what I mean? Look at here, no offense to anybody that's in security. Look, you have to do what you have to do.
There's honour in work no matter what.
It is, absolutely. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's good, honest work. But just like, not even that. It's actually just like, especially when you're working in the clubs, people talk to you like shit.
Yeah.
I'll give you one story. I was working in a club in town, and this was kind of one of the straws for me where I was just like, fuck this bollocks. The club owners of this place are pretty money hungry. They got one named, and they kept the place open till like it was like 3 o'clock is closing time. And it's just like, we're hearing on the mics, boys, we're gonna leave it open till 3:30. And then it's just like, this is a Saturday night. It's just like, oh, we're gonna leave it open in another 15 minutes. And it's like, we're gonna leave it open another 15 minutes. Next all, it's 4 in the fucking morning. I'm just like, still haven't even cleared the place. Like, I'm never gonna get home. Anyways, it was like 4:15. They're like, right, start clearing the place. I mean, and slowly, you know, you're moving people from the smoking area into the main bar, and then you know, it's a big routine getting them out the front door. And just one fucker in the smoking area, I was just like, all right, lads, you know, time to wrap up. Even just take our drinks inside. Hold on a minute. Don't you interrupt 2 gentlemen having a conversation. And I'm looking at him going, mate, it's 4 in the morning. This place is going to be shut a fucking hour.
Yeah.
And back and forward. It's kind of like water off a duck's back, all the things that they're saying. But then he hit me with this. So you have the security in this place wear yellow vests, and he was like to me, he was just like, look at you there standing in your yellow vest and all. Bet you wish you'd done better in your leaving cert now and all this kind of shit. I swear to God, he started going into like just like real. I think he was trying to get me to hit him, to be honest with you, because like he was just trying to get in deep, like just like big, thick bastard security, man. Do you know what I mean? All this kind of shit. Do you know what I mean? Like, just, you know what I mean? Like, get a fucking education, get a real job. And I was like, oh my God. Anyway, one of the other security was just like, right here, get him the fuck out of here. Yeah. So, doing the usual, just grab him by the back of the arm, either side. Yeah. Just marching him out the door. And the manager just is just like, let him go, let him just walk out himself. I'm like, all right, no bother, he can walk out himself. As soon as we let him go, horns around, boom, cracks me a dig, yeah?
Oh, fuck's sake.
And I mean, my head, like, he caught me flush, my head like, whipped like that. And straight away, one of the security, because, you know.
Backing each other up.
Yeah, he just grabbed me.
Okay.
He grabbed me. Yeah. To kind of stop me from doing something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you can't do anything. You know what I mean? If I do something like...
you're in trouble.
In big trouble there.
Yeah.
And, you know, they bleeding tackle him to the ground and all this kind of lark, and, you know, they handled that. But I remember just that point I was like...
What the hell am I doing here?
You know, I wouldn't mind getting hit in the face in a ring.
Yeah.
I've agreed to that.
Yeah.
But getting hit in the face here... You know, at 4 in the morning, I'm bollocks sore, and I want to get up and, like, you know, train or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like,
yeah. So come here, tell us this then. When did you start thinking? Right, so you were probably looking at the lads. They're training full time. A lot of the lads, they personal train people on the side, so they're, you know, they might be helping people with fighting, but they're also doing kind of personal training. Yeah. When did maybe that seed drop for you, where you were looking, going, hey, listen, there's something going on here. Could I do a bit of this?
Yeah, I'd say. After I had my first professional fight, then I kind of started thinking, like, to fight professionally, you need to train like a professional, and you know what I mean? You're training, you know, twice a day, whatever that might be, whether it be like strength and conditioning, or like it's like strength training with your Muay Thai, or your conditioning with your Muay Thai, or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, you know, you want to be really treating it as like a full-time job. Mm-hmm. But you're not getting paid to train. So I was thinking to myself, I was like, I need to find a way here that I can kind of monetize this a little bit, and also be, or not even just monetize. I need to find a way to make money, but also be around the gym. That I don't need to leave here. I can train other people, get paid for doing that, and then I can go and train myself. So that's really where the idea kind of sparked then.
Deadly.
Otherwise, it was really like, you know, you're not going to really be able to train full time, and therefore you're not going to be able to fulfill a dream of fighting professionally. You know what I mean?
So I suppose it was a fairly natural transition for you you have this passion for sport. The sport is Muay Thai, so you have this passion for fighting. You're looking at the other lads ahead of you in terms of they want their pros. You're looking at them going, fuck, I want to be like that. you need to make money. So if you can combine the two things together, train people and fighting, it's kind of a dream come true.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
So in order to make that dream come true, what was holding you back? What was the kind of stumbling block, let's say, for you?
Just like the qualification, I suppose. Like this is the thing. I started out by just holding pads for people. So this is like,
telling me that.
yeah. Now there's no skill for how to hold pads.
Yeah.
You're either like good at it or you're not,
Yeah.
or you just learn over time, or you know from fighting yourself or from watching footage. That's really it. You learn things as you go along.
Yeah.
And what actually made me kind of go, I need to further educate here a little bit, is because now I'm dealing with people who aren't fighters, and they're looking at me as the coach to tell them what to do, or they're asking me questions, even just questions, even real basic nutrition questions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Whatever. And I'm just like, oh, I'm kind of winging these answers here. I don't really have the answers for you. You know what I mean? I remember saying, like, I'll look that up for you. It's like, you know what I mean? That kind of way.
Yeah,
so then that made me go myself, well, hang on a minute. I'm here training full time, but I don't have the full picture.
Yeah.
So then that's when I got onto yourself and I was just like, listen, I think I'm going to do the course, which is in the new year.
Yeah.
I want to, I have all these like dots and snippets. I want to piece it all together now.
Yeah. Gotcha. And listen, I think, from me training a lot of lads over the years, it'd be fair to say that a lot of people that are involved in the fight game, probably skill wasn't for a lot of them, just from the guys that we would kind of deal with. So very often that kind of piece of skill, and all of a sudden, you're going back to school, for want of a better expression. It's like there's going to be a bit of reading, there's going to be maybe looking at stuff on the internet. Was that for you? What was school like for you? Was there any anxiety around that?
Me and skill, not good from the get-go, to be honest with you.
That fucker ringing in your ears. You should have stayed in school.
No, yeah, exactly, yeah. Funny thing is, stayed in school. Probably could have done without staying in school, but yeah, my school journey, just problems from the get-go, to be honest with you. I just don't know. I just never really followed authority well, I suppose, maybe. Yeah. That was, we were just rebelling. I went to one school, secondary, and I remember I had basically reached the amount of suspensions that the Department of Education allowed for. So the school just came to me, man, and were just like, listen, it was like, I was in second year, it was like March of second year, and it was like, we either kick them out or you just leave. Yeah. I was like, right, we'll leave. Right, I'll give him a better chance of getting to another school. Yeah. But it's like, well, you can't start into another school until September.
Oh, fuck.
So I had one long summer. Which, funny enough, actually, if I dive into that a little bit, between that March and December was the first time I actually had ever stepped into a gym. Okay. Because my best mate Jordan, his granddad is a power lifter in Hercules. Yeah.
That's old school,
yeah. Bill Healy, quite well known, actually, as far as I know. Yeah.
Is he son Wayne?
Son Wayne is
the weightlifter?
Yeah, that's weightlifter, his son, yeah.
Holy shit. There you go, that's bad, isn't it?
Yeah. Wayne does, it's the Olympic lifting.
Olympic lifting with us.
Yeah. I've met Wayne years and years ago, yeah.
Strong dude.
Yeah, very strong, I'd say.
Do you know a funny story about Wayne? Not to cut you, but he went to Russia and he was training or whatever, and they done all these tests on him. They're like, you should be a boxer.
Oh, really?
Don't know why I said that voice like that. Yeah. There we go. Like, you should be a boxer, and there he is doing his weightlifting. So he probably would have been a grabber boxer.
There you go. That's that was actually kind of funny enough. That was actually before I got into a gym because I had nothing to do.
Yeah.
I was this kid that was fucking, I don't know what I was, 14 or 15 or whatever, we're just sitting around, everyone was still in school.
PlayStations
so
back
I started going to that. I started going to that gym. Now, obviously, at that age, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing.
Yeah.
I took up wrestling while I was there temporarily. Yeah. But anyways, I started then in another school then that September, and once again, old habits die hard. Just went back to just messing,
being rebellious.
Yeah. But this time, do you know what I'll say? I remember the principal of this school. He was actually sound. He turned around to me, I don't know. He just said, instead of just being like that type of, you were gonna do nothing.
Yeah.
He said something to me along the lines of I'll see it through that you do your leaving cert. come hell or high water. And I was like, oh God. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, but then it was actually kind of nice to hear that as a kid
You had a bit of
because
belief.
yeah, because I was like, Jesus, man, he believes in me.
Yeah.
I don't really do anything with myself after that. Actually, that principal is actually now the head of the GAA as far as now, Mr. Horan. So shout out to him. But like, you know, then I went on doing my leaving. But to be honest with you, then that was like, you know, the real slacker teenage years where like I only cared about boards and whatever. And you know what I mean? And I just like
Didn't give a shit.
I didn't give a shit. And like I got whatever me leaving. I think I've done 100 points if even. I didn't try.
I think you get 50 for Sonia
Yeah.
now.
No, but like honestly, I just didn't try. And even the subjects that I had an interest in, art and stuff like that, didn't give a fuck.
I suppose though it is one of those things that can happen to a lot of us. You put something in your mind, you go, listen, I don't fucking want to do that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
And you probably have all the ability in the world to do it, but you've just said to yourself, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
Do you know
Absolutely,
what I mean?
yeah, 100%. Because look, I just learned that in later years. You know what I mean? If you apply yourself to something,
100%.
you're bound to get good at it.
Yeah.
But to kind of go back towards your question, yeah, that's like the whole thought of like education. Like I didn't even fill out that CAO form. You know, the for applying to colleges.
Wasn't
Didn't have a
big.
clue
Yeah.
what I was looking at. Didn't really like. I seen
Wasn't
people
for you.
throwing down subjects that, oh, if I don't get this, I'll just do this instead. And I'm like, you're deciding your life on that piece of paper. Like, you know what I mean? Right now, like, I'm just like, I don't know what I want to do.
Yeah.
And yeah, therefore, like, education has not really been, you know, was not really my thing. I'd say I've changed my mind about that now.
Yeah. And tell us that, like, that's a kill one, isn't it? Because it's like,
yeah.
was there anxiety around that though? Like, was that a little bit of a block for you doing the course in the sense
us, like,
that with
at
us,
least.
like, you know, because
So, no, of course, I knew there was going to be a bit of theory involved. But just from listening to yourselves, like, I think like the whole practical side of it attracted me. Now, I remember I got sent at first, before starting the course,
reading list or something.
I got sent a lot of the reading list and all. And I did a little bit, me was a bit like, I look like I read perfect, you know what I mean? That's not the case. It's just like,
You were
it's
thinking,
like-
how can I blag this? How
It's
can I
just like-
pretend I read this shit?
I'd say there's many of them. But I was kind of like, fuck, maybe there's a bit more.
But there is,
If they've had this past experience
Yeah,
where
yeah,
you know
yeah.
nothing in that area has been
Yeah.
good, and then you've been in a job that you didn't like, you've seen this opportunity in the future, you really want to go
Yeah.
for it. You've seen now that, right, okay, you're holding pans,
Yeah.
but then what's holding you back is this knowledge gap. The only way to get this knowledge gap is to go back into education. Then it's like, oh, fuck, but that's the thing I hate. How did you get yourself over that? Or was it a different perspective you're viewing it?
I think it was just really, I'll see what happens here. And I went and started the course, and it was really from the first day of the course. Then I was like, oh, there's a tutor here who's actually going through all this stuff. This wasn't just left up to me to read. Because there's one thing to be able to just read words on a page.
Aye.
And then there's another thing being able to actually digest them.
Yeah.
And, you know,
Understand it.
Yeah, understand that information and, you know, properly apply it.
Yeah.
But then, like, obviously, as I realised, like, you know, this isn't just left up to me to read through, you know, there's tutors here that are actually going to go through all this kind of theory with me.
Yeah, support, there's guides,
Yeah,
there's
exactly.
help. Like,
Yeah, and that's, then from there on, I was just like, all right,
that's fine.
Golden.
You know, because Gav, like, I remember one of the remarks he made when he came in here. He came into our place in Leighton. He was looking around. He was like, "Where the fuck's the classroom?" We were like, "What are you talking about, dude? This is a gym." He was like, "Oh, right."
Yeah.
Straight away, he knew, "Oh, this is a completely different environment."
And come here, even for me, for someone that had been using the gym, I didn't know that at the time.
Yeah.
I come in, and next of all, like the gym that
You were training in.
I was training 2 hours earlier or whatever, you know what I mean, that morning.
Became your classroom.
I walked in and all the seats are there on the gym floor, and I'm like, oh,
This
right.
isn't too bad. Yeah.
Where is the classroom? Oh, actually, yeah, this is it. Yeah, you know what I mean, it's just like, so, yeah, like that. And
One thing I would like, because I don't know, is that, like, you're the coach there, and Dave, from your perspective, you didn't have coaching before, and you're fighting. You can see that the success. You talked a wee bit about when you felt the kicks from the lads, and you're feeling the punches, and you're like, "Fuck, where's the strength coming from?"
yeah.
How different was it then when you started to actually do some of the training with Jay? Was it different than you thought? Was it different what you were used to? What was that experience like?
Like, are we talking in terms
The
of
strength
like,
and conditioning stuff you were doing with him, like
the actual exercises like that?
The stuff,
Yeah, they're just, yeah. Now, found out I was weak as a kid. That's it, to be honest with you. Like, I couldn't pull me on, but anyway. But yeah, just like anything, just repeating that over time, and then just developing a pure interest for it, and then seeing the results myself. Then when I was going back into the gym and sparring, I won't even say, "Oh, I was able to clinch this lad and I was really strong. I was able to fling him, or I was able to punch really hard." It was actually like nearly absorbing like shots from others, where like, it was like I don't even feel it anymore. I genuinely feel like I'm after having like a coat of armor put around me nearly, that kind of way. And like that's why I do think the strength training is a really, really big part of my game. Like, you see a lot of old school, mainly in the boxers and stuff, it's just like the coaches, they don't really believe in like strength and conditioning and stuff like that. And they think, oh, it's gonna make you slower and stuff like that. But I don't know.
Yeah, so did that break some myths for you? Like when you actually started training, you're like, this is all the stuff I was told not to do, or is it?
Yeah, absolutely. Don't get me wrong as well. Like, like I believe that like if I squat and I deadlift and I get me legs really strong, I believe I can kick with more power or whatever. I do believe that if I throw that kick 10,000 times, it will become more powerful also. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But from two different sides of things. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's much of a much as whatever way you want to look at it, because like I said, like if you go to Thailand, they're not doing big strength training, but like they kick powerfully. Do you know what I mean? But they're throwing the exact same kick from the age of 7. You know, that kind of way.
I think something here is that sometimes people bring it up as an all or nothing. It has to be this or it has to be that. Yeah. So like the Thailand example is like in Thailand they don't do it this way, so therefore that's the way to do it. But it's like the way I would always say to people is there's 3 elements of any fighter, no matter what type of fight sport you are. There's the actual skill of fighting. That's the coach brings them into that. There's the fight mindset or the fighter's mindset. And I know you want to talk about that in a few minutes, but this is like some people, when they get hit, they bite down the gum shield and they go. Other people shy away. You can't train that. All this like fucking do Shark Tank, do this, do that. You cannot train it. Yeah. The person has it built into them or they don't. If you've come up from a soft, cushy lifestyle, it's hard to instill that into you. But then the third bit is the bit that where we would kind of step in, and that's like the actual fitness components. So that could be strength, power, speed, endurance, stamina. Yeah. All of these trainable qualities. And if you increase those trainable qualities for any athlete in any way, shape or form, then they can go and layer them into whatever that fight sport is. Yeah. So if you give me one of them Thai boxers and I make him stronger and bring him back to Thailand, he's going to kick harder.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like,
yeah, 100%. And what you just mentioned there, all those things are measurable.
Yeah.
Like this is
quantifiable.
Yeah, exactly. So for me, that's a big thing. It's like, how do I measure that I'm getting stronger? How do I all of these things?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And like there's measurable qualities there, but ultimately the proof is in the pudding. So if you think, like I think I seen your last 3 fights, like I was there live.
Yeah.
And you were able to walk those people down. And 2 things you said there, right, you might never be the strongest and most powerful, but you're fit as fuck. And you can absorb a little bit of punishment, and then you can give that punishment back. Yeah. So as you're walking forward and wearing that person down, they have nothing to come back with.
Yeah.
So even sometimes if they're technically better, the other fighter, if he has the bigger physical component, can win.
It's completely nullified, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Because look, one thing I learned a long time ago was that like you can be strong, powerful, fast, you can have all the skill, but when you're tired,
you're fucked.
You're fucked. You can't drive a Ferrari, it has no petrol in it. You know what I mean? Like this is it. Like so, like I learned that the hard way a long time ago, and it's just like.
And there's some things, isn't it, that like fighters mistake. They either fucking put on too much muscle and not understand they have to feel that muscle.
Yeah.
Or they'll go the other way and try and replicate, like put a fucking band around their foot and try and kick with it. And they're just like, bro, that doesn't work. You know what I mean? That doesn't work, bro. Do you want to touch in on that kind of mental side of things? That was just pretty interesting, isn't it?
The other thing is, like, really what you're saying is it levels the playing field there, isn't it? If you've got 2 skillful fighters, they're both equal skill, but this guy's stronger.
Yeah, more than likely. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's like, it's a game changer.
Yeah. And even like mentally, you can see demonstrably, I'm stronger. So that you're walking into the ring feeling that, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I've watched your fights. I just want to know, like, how are you so cool in there? You're literally looking like you're waiting on a bus. You're leaning up against the cage, or you're leaning up against the ring. Like, you know, where does that come from?
Oh, yeah, I nicknamed it the switch. It just, I don't know, it just like, so there was always this whole thing like where, you know, you getting worked up in the back and I'm like, oh, I'm about to go out now, and you know, the nerves are starting to kick in. It's just a pot ready to boil over, to the point where I just decided, I don't know what fight it was, I just decided, you know what, just take a big deep breath here. When your name gets called, that's the switch, and that's the point where you just plain faced walk into that ring, look him in the eyes, and just try to remain as calm as possible, because genuinely all that you know, trying to like, if you let your adrenaline stuff take over you, and just, you know, it's wearing the energy out of it, energy you could be using, you know, that kind of way. So it's just like, I suppose it's a sense of just like trying not to care as much.
It's when David becomes Meogie.
Yes. Yeah, that's what he lives up to the name in it. But like, I'm just wondering how that feels from the fighter on the other side. You know, like when they are that worked up dude, and expending all this energy, and then they see this dude walk in, Meogie walks in, and he's like you're just cool as a cucumber. That must fuck with their heads, like. Yeah, like,
don't get me wrong. Like, inside, I obviously have all these kind of feelings. I mean, like, but I'm just so constantly trying to like control it, just compress it a little bit, and just definitely not show it. You know, the kind of way, and then just, you know,
it's a tricky thing, in it, because it's like on that fight on the weekend, not to have any disrespect to your man, but it's like we kind of knew, didn't we, on the way in, because you had a little encounter with him and he fucking wanted to shake your hand and be all. He was nearly being submissive.
So I was, well, like,
if that made, you know,
it actually goes back to even warming up in the back.
Yeah,
I'm in the back. I'm just chatting to you. I think I was eating a rice cake, and you were just like, stop eating, and you had to take it.
I'll eat that rice cake for you.
He was like, this fella has to stop fucking eating in the car on the way down here. He's just like, stop eating now, will you? And he was walking towards the door, and their change room was to the right or whatever, and he just kind of gave me and I just turned around to the lads and I went, it's done. They were like, what you mean? I was just like, he's broke.
Yeah, he's broke.
It was like he's broke character.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean,
yeah.
And then again, you know, I got in the ring, and he came out after me, and fucking the place went ape shit. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, because
it was his hometown. Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like, and I was, oh, I feel that. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, and for him, that must be fucking great. You know what I mean? That must be giving him an electric charge. Like, and he kind of came to the ring, and you know, he kind of like shook my hand as he got in the ring, you know what I mean? Like,
it was nearly being thankful, wasn't he?
Yeah,
that you were there.
Yeah.
It was a bit strange, wasn't it?
Maybe don't like, I don't know, like maybe just like, because I have full respect for the lads.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
100%.
I respect anybody that steps in the ring. It's not anyone that steps in the ring with me. No, just anyone that steps across those fucking ropes. 100% respect. Before we start, but I won't show it. When we finish, I 100% all day, I'll bow down to you. But yeah, that's like that gave me, I feel like there was like a mental advantage there. Do you know what I mean? Where I was like, right, I'm kind of in control. And even sometimes you get it when you walk into the center of the ring and you lock eyes with someone for those few seconds as the ref explains the rules to you, and they might be looking at you, and then they give a little towards the ref. That little second where they just take their eyes off you, that does mean something to me. Because I've been the one that's done it before.
Okay.
I remember I've done it in I actually done it in August in Glasgow. I lost that fight. We split decision. Standing across from the lad that was fighting, and we're looking into each other's eyes. His jaw and all is like, you know, he's clenching his jaw. And I just don't know why I fucking done it, but as the ref was explaining the rules, I just kind of looked towards her, nodded at the ref, and I even said to myself, yeah,
you broke character.
Why did you do that?
Yeah.
And even though I was like, that doesn't mean nothing to me, but it probably means something to him.
Yeah.
Like he's probably after recognizing that, and he's probably after saying, "Oh, you broke."
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But look at that. There's a subconscious
non-verbal communication.
Yeah, there's something going on inside, and then we manifest it on the outside in some way, shape, or form. You know.
But don't get me wrong, when you lock eyes and nobody looks anywhere, it's like, oh, this is gonna be a fucking.
There's gonna be a serious knock here.
Yeah.
That's deadly. Holy shit, man.
So listen, Davey, right? Well, you're at the stage now, right? You're training people, you're pushing on in the career, so in your career, right? So look, bigger fucking fight shows are coming up. So what do you think, and what's in the future for you, both within the fight game, but also how you've combined the kind of personal training piece of that puzzle in there?
Yeah. So with the fighting, I really do try to take it one day at a time. I don't look at it and say, there's always the generic answer, what do you want? I want to be a world champion.
Yeah.
Well, sorry lad, there's not that many belts going around for us all to be world champions. You know what I mean? This is not me just ruling that out for myself. You know what I mean? Because you should always want the best and you know, whatever. But like I really do just try to take it one step at a time. I've done that in life always. You know, sometimes to me disadvantage, sometimes to me advantage. And that's the way I'll keep on going. And then in the terms of training, same thing with that. I'll still keep, you know, train the clients that I have now and continue to try get more clients on board. And then, you know, more importantly, like to have the qualification, it was for me was the thing, nearly thinking life after fighting as well.
Right.
Yeah. So what's the next step for you?
So, you know, I'm 30 now. We spoke about this, you know, what am I going to be fighting when I'm 40? Yeah, not likely, you know.
Yeah.
Fighting up to, well, it could be fighting another 5 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And, you know, after that, you're going to have to restart looking at other things.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like it's, as well as that, like coaching is moving in a very more advanced kind of area. So you have the old school pad holding coaches and stuff like that. That's great to be able to teach you how to throw a punch, a kick, whatever, you know what I mean? But like, they're going to have to start adapting to knowing a little bit about how
training, strength conditioning,
all these other little bits and pieces, yeah, do you know what I mean? Nutrition and stuff like that to better their fighters so they can kind of work together with other coaches, yeah. And
your vision for the course and what you thought it was going to do for you, and like going back to that idea where you're standing with your guy with the pads and you're like, fuck, I don't have the knowledge to answer this, dude. And when you came to the course to get it, how did that all work out for you in the end? Did you get what you came for?
Yeah, I got exactly what I came for. Yeah, absolutely. Like, and what I always say about the course as well is that like it not only gave me the information to pass on to clients, it gave me the information for myself as well. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So like that's invaluable. Do you know what I mean? You can't, you know, I'll always have that. You know what I mean? Even if I decided tomorrow, you know what, I'm done with coaching, not going to do that anymore. I'm going to do something else. You know what I mean? I'll still always have that knowledge in that kind of sense.
I think in some ways it's kind of opened the door up for you to look at other things, because now you've got more tools to like look at information that's out there and go, does that make sense? So we fairly often have conversations. You might go, what about this? What about that?
Too often. And conversations, arguments. The CMOS. Don't knock it till you try it. No, but yeah, no, absolutely. It's it does. It's sure. Like I still drop you messages. Do you know what I mean? And actually a good thing about the course as well that I liked, like it wasn't that like it just ended and it's just like you're out there on your own, you know, sink or swim. Even though when you finish the course, you're fully confident to go out there and train people. You know what I mean? Like it's as much of a confidence building course as it is an education into the facts. But like back to that, like I said, I still message you or I still question you over things, just like, you know, what you think of this, what you think of that, you know, why do we do this, and so on and so forth. And that door is open to everybody. Yeah.
And has it changed your view? Because I remember, like, we started off talking about how you had bad experience, and that was kind of making you a wee bit apprehensive when you were thinking about the course. And then obviously it was a surprise to you that it was different. Has it changed your view on education now going forward?
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, I think I could just mention that briefly there. I haven't gone and done any more further education just yet, but I do have a couple of like little ideas and plans in the pipeline. It's just really been busy with fighting.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? Like it takes up a huge amount of time. Massive. But yeah, no, it's changed on just education as a whole. We won't even say just true fitness and nutrition and stuff and coaching education. Like it just as a whole, it's after making me go, you know what? Reevaluate things here.
It's opened up more doors.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like school isn't the route everybody has to go. There's other routes you can go, and
yeah,
this is showing you doors that like basically it's the doors that are open, aren't they?
Absolutely. Like I actually think back now. Look, fucking spilled milk and all that, but I actually think to myself, do you know, it would have been deadly. It would have been deadly that when I finished school when I was 17. Imagine I just jumped in and done the course then or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, but look, you know, at that time, like I said,
there was different things happening.
Different things happening. Wasn't like, you know, thinking like that, and you know, but if you're into the fitness industry, or you're not into the fitness industry, you're into fitness or the health and fitness.
Sports, that type
Yeah.
of thing. Tell us this though, right? So, like, there's a few little notes I took here and kind of what you were saying, and one of the things that stuck out to me, when you first got going in the fighting, and it's maybe even in the course in some ways, it's like people are looking for permission, right? So they want someone to turn around, go to them, you're ready for the fight, you're ready for the course in any area in life, right? What would you kind of say back to yourself or anybody else that might be listening when it comes to that piece? How do you take action faster?
I don't know. I just like I think like don't look for like an excuse to do it. You know what I mean? Like there you go. Like I kind of like you think about it. Like I kind of nearly waited around, didn't I, till I had somebody come to me and say, "Oh, how do I? I don't know." It's like whatever question might be. You know what I mean? Like, how do I lose body fat off me left thigh or whatever? That kind of way, like
so basically it's like don't look for barriers. That's it, because I think a lot of us don't we let things stop us in some way, shape or form, and we add all them up as opposed to looking at the possibility what could be.
Absolutely, yeah. In everything in life, do you know what I mean? Like just constantly like, and that's something that I think everybody needs a little bit of working on.
What about setbacks, right? Because listen, right from a young age, knock, Davy's ma's into schools, like you're going to get thrown out or leave. You're into the other school, after school, there was a few different jobs, fucking injuries.
Yeah.
What's your mindset when it comes to them setbacks?
Just keep on trucking. Like, genuinely, like I just think like I've always had this mentality, to be honest with you. The world doesn't stop turning for nobody. Do you know what I mean? Like, just keeps on spinning. So you just have to keep riding that thing. Or what are we gonna do?
Yeah,
we're here. We're alive. I'm not going anywhere just yet. You know what I mean? Like, I'm still only 30. So whether it's an injury, whatever it might be in life that sets me back, I'll always just try to overcome that and bounce back from it. That kind of way. Really look at it like a challenge. It's a bit of fun.
Bit of fun, bit of challenge together.
So what's the future like now for you? What's on the cards fight-wise? I know you've just finished the fight there, haven't you? Which went pretty well for
This
you.
hasn't been announced, but I'm sure this podcast probably won't be out by the time it is announced.
Oops.
Who knows? So I'm after getting a fight on an organisation called Muay Thai Grand Prix.
Nice.
Probably one of the most recognised Muay Thai organisations in the world. I'm going to be fighting on the undercard of my teammate Craig Coakley, who is fighting in a tournament final, which is going to get him a contract to a massive organisation called One Championship. And that's my next fight. That's the 15th of April. I can't tell you who it is. I just know the weight and the day.
The win and the day.
I don't ask.
Come what may.
Come what may, exactly. I don't ask who the pound is.
Don't you worry, we'll be ready.
That's it, yeah.
So, Davey, tell us this. Listen, anybody who's kind of listening to this, or they've been watching you on social media, they've been kind of looking at your fights, following you along, where can people find out more about either DCA or you in terms of training, any of that jazz? Where's the best place to go?
Yeah, absolutely. So let's start off. We have an Instagram page. It's Dublin Combat Academy. We also have a website, dublincombatacademy.ie or .com.
One of those.
Search it, you'll find it. And myself, the name is Meogie Muay Thai on Instagram, or David McLaughlin. So you search either of them, or and listen, the gym's page, my page, any of the coaches, we're all open to any DMs on what type of training we all do, and you know what I mean, like any questions, fight related, health and fitness related, whatever. It's open.
There it is.
Yeah,
Davey, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah,
good man.
You
Thanking
too,
you.
lads. Cheers. Lovely.
Boom. Deadly.